Happy Thursday, everyone. I just want to give a quick update in regards to the potential for some rain this afternoon. And basically, if it doesn't rain, what that's going to do to our atmosphere in terms of maybe some rain or even some snow early tomorrow morning. I got a special guest. I got Connor here, best friend. He's also a meteorology student. So together, we're going to give you our forecast and kind of break these things down for you.
As Nick mentioned, I'm Connor Fine. Taking a look at the weather forecast, we got a lot going on here on radar. Not too much compared to what we actually see what's going outside. This line just on the eastern parts of Stearns County is what's actually taking place. A little bit of precipitation to the area, nothing too much. I'll talk about why that's happening in just a second here. But if you take a look at the traffic cameras further out west in Albany, Minnesota, you can see it's kind of difficult, but on the right side of that bridge, there is wetness on the road compared to underneath the bridge, where it's protected from that rain. You can see a clear indicator of that precipitation reaching that surface, and this is due to a cold front working its way through the area. If we take a look, this map is currently taken right around 1 p.m. Central Time, so a few hours later we'll be further to the right where we can currently see that cold front right now. But for the most part, models weren't really showing too much of precipitation here in the area, and that has kind of changed as to the strength of this cold front maintaining its integrity. That's allowing for more conditions to be prime for that precipitation. Take a look at that 700 millibar map. That is part of the reason we can see some moisture into the area. That's kind of very deep moisture in the area. This map shows very good moisture advection with that. So we can see it's very saturated here right around central Minnesota and that central part as that cold front works its way through. Even if we don't see precipitation, though, reach that surface, it does play a role into what we see tomorrow, with the possibility of some snow. Nick will be talking about that and the next few days beyond that. So with that, it's kind of something to pay attention to. That'll bring us more moisture in the area, so there's not as much dry air preventing the snow from reaching the ground. But if we take a look at that soundings for today, out in front of that cold front initially, you could see there wasn't too much taking place with that. There is kind of that drier slot of air. This is right around 21Z, so 4 p.m. today. Take a look right in front of that cold front. There is a dry slot of air. This dry slot, as Nick has talked about in many different forecasts, will prevent any sort of moisture reaching the surface. That kind of evaporates what's currently going on. But for the NAM, that's kind of changed over the past few hours with the current initialization. This took place right around 1 p.m. That's kind of changed. We saw a little bit more saturation with that, which has kind of changed the models with that. So, which is why we are seeing that precipitation take place and a few rain droplets reach that surface. But beyond that, not too much happening here in St. Cloud, but it mainly plays a role into what's happening tomorrow, which Nick will be able to tell you more with that over the next coming days.
Well, I'm going to kind of piggyback. It's going to be the same low pressure system in regards to what Connor was just talking about for our weather, or at least our impacts that we could see for tomorrow. So still looking here, this is our vorticity advection. We can see that there's still a decent amount of this as our low is going to continue to occlude or basically end up dying off. So our best chance of seeing some the higher amounts of vorticity is going to be in the morning, although we could still see some scattered showers throughout much of our day tomorrow and into Saturday. But like I said, the best chance, at least more organized precipitation, is going to be early tomorrow morning. So looking at the model, this is the HRRR. It's one of our shorter range models. It's meant for kind of just more near-term things, so has a little better resolution in terms of what we could potentially see. But once again, don't totally take this fully to heart. A little bit of a grain of salt, just because these showers will be fairly scattered, so it's not necessarily going to look exactly like this. But this picks up right around 1 a.m. We can see our low is still going to be off in parts of North Dakota, starting to enter parts of Minnesota as we head throughout the morning. And then by the time we head into 7, 8 a.m., that's when we start to see some more numerous scattered chances of rain. And then also going to see the potential for seeing some snow early tomorrow morning. Our best chance is going to be before we start to have really any chance to warm up a little bit during the day. So if temperatures end up being a little bit cooler overnight, that's going to increase that chance of snow. And if they're left a little bit warmer, which is possible just because we will be seeing a fair bit of clouds, so any excess heat really won't be able to kind of rise up and leave our atmosphere. It could keep our temperatures a little bit warmer. And then, like I said, we'll see those scattered rain showers and potentially snow showers stick around. But by the time we're heading into the afternoon and then to the evening when you might go trick-or-treating, or if anyone you know is, It looks to be mostly rain showers by that point. Temperatures should be well warm enough that we won't be seeing any snow. And even if we do see snow, it's probably fairly wet snow, as it's going to be mostly melted by the time it gets down to the surface. And then if it does hit the surface, it's going to melt almost instantly, as the ground is still pretty warm. Roads are still fairly warm. Just there's really nothing for it to stick to just yet. We are getting there eventually, but as of right now, it still should be warm enough where we're not going to see any accumulation here. Maybe up north, far in northern Minnesota, where they're cooler, they might actually see a little bit, but not here in St. Cloud, and anywhere south of there wouldn't see it either. So those rain and snow showers do stick around a little bit for part of our Friday overnight and Saturday morning. Although as that low continues to move out, continues to die off, the chance of rain is going to really decrease a lot from that, and not expecting a whole lot. But in terms of tomorrow, the reason why we could see some snow, so this is basically a image of the atmosphere if you were to look just straight up in one area. So basically this line, this blue dashed line here, that's the 0 degrees Celsius or 32 Fahrenheit. Basically anywhere off to the left of this, as you go up, these lines go slanted. That's going to basically allow your water molecules to freeze, or basically be snowflakes, basically early tomorrow morning. So we can see a lot of our atmospheric profile is going to be below freezing, except for maybe the last couple hundred meters right near the surface. So the fact that temperatures are going to be right around the 35 to 38, that it's going to play a big role. If they're closer to that 38 mark, that's basically going to put our snow chance pretty low, because it's most likely going to melt, because these snowflakes are already going to be fairly wet and wanted to melt anyway. But if we can get closer to that 35-degree dew point with our temps at 35, or maybe even if our dew point and temp are a little lower, then we have a little better of a shot of seeing some snow. So basically, if you're driving out tomorrow morning for work, if you're going to be outside, it'll probably be some scattered showers, but honestly, I wouldn't be terribly shocked if we did end up seeing just a little bit of snowflakes at least mixed in there. And we can see it temperature-wise as we head throughout tomorrow morning. We can see widespread temps in those mid to say lower 30s, at least across parts of southern Minnesota. And then up near St. Cloud, we're right on that line somewhere between 33 to 38 degrees. So that big difference is going to be basically where we can set up with our temperatures and if we do see snow. And then looking at kind of like the long-term future, let's see if it loads here. There it is. As we continue to go throughout our forecast period, things will get fairly calm, at least for the next couple days after this. Not a whole lot happening. And then by the time we head into this weekend, things should start to warm up again, as we have a ridge starting to build here over Minnesota. It's going to allow some warmer temperatures, and then that ridge will continue into next week, probably ushering in some 50-degree temperatures again, maybe 60s. If the ridge pushes a hair further north, far southwestern Minnesota might see a few 60s, but regardless, it's going to still be much warmer than our average temperature is. So some abnormally warm temperatures, and then we do have a few little troughs that will work its way through. So a few shots of some colder air, along with a few more chances of some precipitation. Probably not snow just yet, just because we will be seeing a lot of warmer air sticking around, and they're not very deep troughs, which means we're not going to usher in a lot of cold air behind it, which is really going to limit that potential for snow, at least in the near term. But by the time we head into November, we finally see some of these much deeper and bigger troughs, which will allow for the possibility to see some more, maybe stronger storm systems, along with so much cooler air. So that could finally bring around the potential for some snow. But at least for the time being, it's going to be a little bit on the warmer side, which is still fairly nice in terms of what we're seeing for weather. But by the time we head into that middle of November, so much, like I said, so much deeper troughs are going to be working their way through, which will allow for some multiple storm chances, not only here, but severe weather down south. And then, like I said, finally might see some snow. So we're going to hold off on the snow for just yet, maybe a little bit tomorrow, a little bit of precipitation. Should be a fairly nice weekend, though, in terms of at least trick-or-treating. Shouldn't be terrible compared to some Halloweens we've had in the past, where it's either been super cold, had multiple inches of snow on the ground. So it's definitely not going to be the worst. Could be a little bit better if it wasn't as rainy out, at least scattered showers. But overall, should be some nice weather on the way. Snow will eventually come. I'll have updates when that snow is going to come. But for now, enjoy your weekend. Have a good Halloween. Everyone stay safe. And I'll talk to you guys later.